evening, everybody. Thanks for joining us. We're not going to spend too much time looking at the current weather tonight because, unfortunately, we've got to talk about a storm. So this is going to be halfway between my quick forecasts and that I've been doing over the last few days and a look at the storm that's coming in tonight. We're going to give us a little bit of snow. It's not really going to be that much snow, but it's May, so any snow seems like a lot of snow. Just to summarize today was a pretty nice day until this afternoon when the clouds rolled in with associated with our storm. Because the clouds rolled in, we didn't get quite as warm. We were in the, it was 58 degrees at my house a little afternoon. I was warmer last night because the clouds stayed through the night. I did not get any measurable precipitation, even though it definitely did rain when the front came through last night. That gave us our kind of first wave of cold air. I want to thank Maya Drummond from the Londonderry Inn. She took this picture this morning when the sun was out for sunrise. It's a really nice picture that she shared with me. And I think it tells the story of today's weather minus the last few hours of the day. Snow pictures probably for late tonight. So let's get into talking about the storm a little bit. So here is our current situation, and let me just kind of get out of the way here. Here's our low pressure system, and you can see temperatures are not what you'd expect for a snowstorm, but this is May, so this is, we've got 50s over most of Vermont, some 40s where the clouds are a little higher, but then as you get under where precipitation, I'll show you the radar in a second here, where precipitation is falling, we're in the 20s and 30s in northwestern Pennsylvania. And that's happening because we're going to look at this in a minute, but there's quite a bit of cold air aloft, and it's very dry. So as the moisture falls through that cold air and into the dry air, it cools off and it causes the temperature to fall, and that's how we're going to get snow, even though it was in the mid to upper 50s today for a time, which is not normally what we'd have the day before a snowstorm. That's also why it's not going to start as snow. If this same system was happening in, say, March or certainly in February, we'd be all snow, but that's not going to be the case for this storm. And we're actually not going to get quite as much precip as we could out of it as well. We're going to look at that, why that's happening in a little bit. But first we're going to look at the radar just to kind of give you an idea of what's going on. Most of this in New York is not hitting the ground. A lot of this is. And you can see the precipitation is kind of sliding east-northeast. And so as you can kind of see, we're not going to get a huge... Now this will build back in here some as the storm kind of swings and goes up the coast, and but it doesn't really strengthen significantly until it gets almost too far past us to give us the heaviest of precipitation. The only place I think that could get actually significant problematic snow out of this is Maine, and they had a storm like this a couple weeks ago. They won't get as much snow as they got out of that one, but where the foothills in Maine got a couple of feet of snow a couple weeks ago. It's not going to be that bad up there, but they're the place that could see snow that I don't think they'll plow it because it's May, but it would be plowable snow in February. The snow we're going to get is, even at high elevation, is not plowable snow. Let's look at the satellite, and that kind of shows the picture as to why this storm is not going to drop a lot of precipitation on top of us, which is good, because if it did, I think we would actually potentially get snow. The air is cold enough that's in place for us to basically have a pretty good snowstorm. But thankfully the storm is not. So what you see here is you have this is the Arctic dive of air and the upper level low that's being pushed down basically from the North Pole. It's the coldest air in really on the planet is in eastern Canada right now. Well, in the northern hemisphere, I should say, and it's being pushed south. And it's kind of, and we've already kind of gotten a couple of glancing blows, which is why we've been chilly. And but one thing our storm is not doing, if you notice, there's kind of a tilt this direction to the storm, and you can see even if you follow kind of this the main line of the trough, it starts tilted. Whoa, my arm doesn't go that way. Doing this backwards is a problem. Starts like this, and it's kind of coming around to neutral. But what happens with storms is they get strong when the trough goes what's called negatively tilted, when the trough axis kind of aligns like this. Well, that's not going to happen really until the storm is starting to really exit our area, where it's really too far past us to give us heavy precipitation, which is a good thing, because the only way you get any kind of significant snow, even in Vermont, even at elevation in May, is if precipitation is falling hard, and usually if it's falling at night. Now, I do think we'll get a little bit of snow, enough to coat the ground. And let me show you one other illustration is why it's going to snow, even though it was 50 in the 50s today, or upper 40s. So this is a model approximation, but of what the temperature. This is called a skew T log P. This is a little inside baseball for meteorology. but you don't follow my channel because there's not some geeky stuff on it. The temperature is in red here, and you can see obviously the temperature goes down as you go up in the atmosphere until you get to what's called the tropopause, and then above that in the stratosphere, which is like the higher than planes fly. Let's put it that way. Temperature actually goes up in the atmosphere, but anyways, that's just your fact for the day. You also have the dew point here in green, and so what happens here is when it starts to precipitate, these two lines will meet because as it moistens up, in order for that moisture level to come up, the temperature kind of has to come down, and they meet in the middle. And this actual blue line here is the approximation of where that would happen at the time that this would have been like mid-afternoon. So as you can see, that line is already close to the 0 line here, which is illustrated by the zero. You see the 0, that's 0 degrees Celsius down here, which would be the freezing point. So even though we're going to start with temperatures this evening in the 40s, almost 50 when the precipitation starts, as it starts to moisten the column, our temperatures, we're not going to get down to freezing tonight with the clouds, but our temperatures will get down into the mid-30s. If precipitation comes down hard enough, that is cold enough for snow, and even snow to accumulate at night. And the heaviest precipitation will come probably between 1 and 4 a.m., I would say. And enough just to give us coating, if you live below 500 feet, I think there'll be snow in the air, but no, I don't think you'll see any coating. 500 feet to 1,500 feet, I think just a slushy inch. It'll just be coating. It'll mostly be on grass. The roads won't even, they'll just be wet. If you live above 1,500 feet, I think you could get an inch or 2, maybe 3 if you live closer to 2,000 feet. So that's probably about the maximum we'd see around here. It's not, and it'll be, again, even that would be mostly only on grassy surfaces. Pavement temperatures, soil temperatures are real warm at this point, even though it's been cold. It hasn't been that cold. It's still May, and the sun is strong. So let me give you a quick highlight of the storm here. Don't want to go on too long. I know this is when I get to storm time, I can go on forever. So precipitation starts as rain soon, probably within the next 2-3 hours here. As the storm drags in, colder air we mix with and change to snow. I think that would happen by midnight or a little after. Snow's heaviness between 2 and 6. I think by 4 actually. It's really kind of only a couple hours where I think the snow is going to fall somewhat heavily, and really just at a moderate clip. And some will accumulate, like I said, only during the nighttime, even if the heavier snow lasts into the day. Once you get any sun, May sun, it won't accumulate anymore. It may be falling from the sky. Certainly tomorrow on the backside of the storm, we'll have some snow showers, particularly if you live on the west side of the Greens, if you live going down the mountain from Peru into Manchester, or from Winhall into Manchester, or if you're down on the Route 9 corridor there, heading down into Bennington. There you would see snow in the air most of the day. It's not going to accumulate during the day, though. So this is really not anything to really worry about. It's just kind of remarkable. It does happen. We get snow sometimes. Albany may get some accumulating snow if that happens. I think I looked at a graphic today from the National Weather Service out of Albany. It would be the tied for the 4th latest they ever got accumulating snow in Albany. So it's not unheard of. It is somewhat unusual to get snow this late, particularly in the mountains. It's not that unusual. But needless to say, as we look forward, I do want to take a quick look at the week ahead. Basically, it's going to be cold, but the weather gets better. Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday are all pretty similar. We have one little storm that may move through with a few showers on Monday, and then it looks like we're going to avoid most of the, we're going to be mostly sunny, it looks like, for a lot of the week. Getting warmer slowly, not quickly, but temperatures near 50, mid-50s, then maybe into the lower 60s by Thursday. That's not real warm, but that's getting better. Friday would be their next chance after Monday for precipitation, and by then we are starting to get into a warmer air mass, and it looks like beyond that even we would get into a significantly warmer air mass. So hopefully you can hold out for a few more days as the weather gets better, and we can all say goodbye to winter and snow until November. Maybe some snow showers in October. That's about the beginning of the time even I am not excited for snow anymore. So, thanks for joining me this week every night as we look at forecasts, and just a reminder that I'm doing this month for every night to try to raise money for the Neighbors Pantry in Londonderry, Vermont. And if you want to help out with that, you can support me as a patron. Go to my Patreon page, and you can, whatever I raise this month as a patron, will go to the Neighbors Pantry. If you continue supporting me after that, I appreciate it, and you can that money will go to helping me improve some of my equipment and also helping me get a couple more of the. I'm going to try to get 2 forecasts out a week going forward after May. So hope you're staying safe, staying healthy, and we'll talk to you again tomorrow. And I won't have to mention snow except for that it happened the night before. Hopefully again till like I said, October, maybe November. Have a good night.